Okay. Hi, my name is Mariela Sanchez, and for my research question, I put, what are the causes and consequences of gender wage gap, especially in STEM-related positions? So my position. The wage gap among men and women is significantly increasing. The reason being that either most individuals are uneducated about the wage gap or choose to turn a blind eye. The consequences of this wage gap is that women are being paid significantly less. Ultimately, this pay gap is dangerous because it can harm a woman's self-esteem and interfere with a woman's ability to pay her bills. The most effective way to fix this problem is to educate individuals that the problem is happening and fix the wage gap. So for my opposing viewpoint, I put, there is not a gender wage gap in America. As a result, the gender wage gap is not a problem that needs to be addressed. So here are key point facts. Number 1, women earn just 79 cents for every dollar made by men. In 2014, the most recent year for which data are available, full-time year-round working women on annual median wage were $39,621 compared with $50,000 for men. To put this into perspective, the difference between men's and women's median wages is $10,000. That could cover more than 14 months of median U.S. rent in 2014, and the average cost more than one in full-time center-based care for infants. So my second fact is that despite the fact that women earn the majority of college degrees, their wage gap persists. The American Association of University of Women found that one out of college women were paid just 89 cents for which significantly educated and experienced male peers were paid. They found that the wage gap for 10 years after graduating from college, women were paid only 69 cents for what the male counterparts were paid. So the wage gap results in significant loss in lifetime earnings for women. Over 40 careers in the average lifetime earnings of women are based on today of the wage gap total, 438,480. The losses are great for women of color. Latinas lose a total of 1,007,780 of African American women lose 877,480 over 40-year careers. A lifetime's earnings less also affect women's retirement security. On average, women have 50% smaller accounts balances in different contribution plans. The fourth fact is that the gender wage gap continues to grow over time. For women the ages of 15 to 24, working full-time and year-round, the wage gap is 4,373. By the time the women age 45 to 64, they earn 15,000 less than men per year. So number 5 fact is it could take over a century to lose the wage gap. According to the November 2015 edition of the Global Gender Wage Gap, the gap is closing, but very slowly. In 1973, it was higher for women, earning 55.6 than men. In 2015, the number increased to 79%. And society doesn't change seriously soon, women will only be able to make the same men in 2133, 117 years from now. So here are the consequences. Women suffer mental health. Consequence number 1, the gender wage gap has an enormous effect on women's mental health. Facts. Experiencing the effects of gender wage gap on a daily basis can be exhausting for women and can make her feel out of control. The gender wage gap often leaves one feeling frustrated and sometimes lead to people feeling more depressed and socially anxious. Women may also blame themselves for these negative circumstances rather than realize that the problems in the institution are occurring. Consequences, student loans. So, a 2018 from the American Association University of Women found that full-time working women who graduated college in 2007-2008 had paid 33% of their student loan debt by 2012. In comparison, men who graduated the same years had paid 44%. These numbers differ by race as well. At 61%, Asian women found the core here to the highest percentage of death among men. White, non-Hispanic men had paid 37%, black women 9%, and Hispanic Latina women 3%. So this is my next consequence. So failure to pay women equally limits their ability to attain economic stability. If women fail to pay, if women are paid the same as men, for instance, the poverty rate among working women would decrease from 8% to 3.8%, according to the Institute for Women Policy Research. The impact of children of these women, this impacts the children of these women too. Of the 5.6 children in poverty today, 2.5 million would come to poverty and gender wage gap close and suddenly it's closed, the study states. So here's my solution. So educate individuals on the gender wage gap. By educating individuals on the gender wage gap, individuals will be empowered to fix the wage gap. Here's my next solution. So obviously the gender wage gap is the problem. So the only way to address this problem is to fix the gender wage gap. So my solution for the gender wage gap is fix the gender wage gap so that the solution is so that there no longer is a gap. So by raising the gender wage gap, women can avoid the negative consequences associated with gender wage gap, which include but are not limited to damage of mental health, student loan debt, and poverty levels. So by fixing the gender wage gap, you can avoid all these problems associated with the gender wage gap. So here are my citations, and once and for all, I would like to reiterate, the only way to fix this gender wage gap is to first educate individuals that there is a gender wage gap and to stop the gender wage gap. Thank you.